Spud, guess what I did last night for the first time ever?
A.
No, it's not. It's probably not cool. It's probably not. Well, I think it's cool.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I don't know. What did you do?
I played Dungeons and Dragons. I knew you'd have that reaction. Don't get excited, Spud.
Right.
You won't like it.
Okay, Tommie. So, how's your week been, Tommie? Is it any good, Tommie? Is it like, remember the cartoon from the 80s that never finished? You remember that? Or the 80s, 90s?
They did get home once though, didn't they? And then decided to go back, because that's a trope of these things.
Did they go back? I thought the series didn't finish and they were just
No, like I mean in the middle of it, not the kind of end one.
Oh, you're right, actually. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I like that program, but it probably had nothing to do with the game, did it? I have no idea.
Well, I don't know anything about the game other than last night we were just kind of getting a general introduction and creating the characters, but it was really funny because no one's taking it tremendously seriously. Everyone just wants to have a bit of crack in an evening, like, you know.
But yeah, hold on, you have to create. You're not just given like a list of characters you can be.
I think there's many ways of doing it, but this one is there's like classes and there's races.
Oh god! That sounds like when you buy like the Division or one of those games, and you're like, oh,
I know you spent 2 hours getting your man's cheekbones right.
You're like, okay, I'm gonna make this guy look exactly nothing like me. Yeah. So he's tall, handsome, and black. Obviously, you know, he has a sexy haircut and lots of scars. And then, like, why did I spend half an hour doing that? I don't even remember what he looks like now, because you just see the back of his head in the game.
It's the same in Cyberpunk 2077. You spend all this time, well, not really that long because it's not that great, and then you never see him because it's first person. So
it's just ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, why did they do that? I presume the game is loading stuff behind it, is it?
No. It's people love that. That's a huge, like, that was one of the things people give out about Cyberpunk, was that they felt let down in the creation of the character.
God,
people love it. I understand, but what I tend to do is spend, like, say in the Division, you spend ages as you do in the character, and then go, I'll play the rest for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's people I know. One guy who I go to cinema with, he and then another guy who I used to be in bands with and stuff years ago, and then 2 other people I don't know, and it's just a bit of crack.
So these are Irish people. These aren't nerdy Yanks.
No.
I see.
People from I know, in a sense.
So they are nerds.
Oh yeah, I mean, definitely, yeah. One guy who I didn't know, and he's out in his man cave out in the shed, and it's just, you know, full of Funko Pops and, you know, all this kind of cool stuff or whatever. So, like, proper nerds, yeah. Like, I mean, there's no question about it.
I've never heard Funko Pops called cool before.
Well, it depends on who you're talking to. I have any number of Funko.
I can't get it.
Well, I have functional ones.
Who did I see? The video you sent me with the Flat Earth thing. He had some Pickle Rick ones, and I was like, oh, okay, they look pretty cool.
Yeah. There is some cool.
Pickle Rick's my favourite cartoon episode of anything ever. I just love it. It's amazing. Pickle Rick.
I think it's like, I suppose, but they're a good present for nearly everyone, because, like, say you're into Guns N' Roses and go, what, I get him? You can get him a Slash one, you know what I mean? Like, there's or an Axl Rose or stuff like that. They're kind of cool, kind of throwaway kind of presents, I suppose, for people. You know, the type of presents you get, go, well, I don't want this, but I understand why you bought it for me. But I like them. I got them to use as servitors. So they're cool.
Yeah, I wrote down in my little notebook here, lay off the fucking voodoo dolls, because you're getting my whole family into magic here.
It's nothing to do with me, man.
I don't know. They're fucking doing sigils and fucking.
I have a Spud Funko Pop doll. He's tall, handsome, and black.
Full of scars. I came downstairs the other day, and I was like, I'll be doing one of the interviews that we don't have to mention, but it's a surprise for everyone. And she was
like, interview Satan.
Yeah, I interviewed Satan for the podcast, and she's like, oh God, are you okay? You're going to give out? I'm like, what's wrong? Is it the young one was crying, and she was crying for ages. I'm like, well, I didn't hear a thing. She's like, okay, because we were doing this kind of thing where I said to Mickey, right, just ignore her, and just deep breaths, ignore her, she's not there. Nice. Deep breaths, ignore her, she's not there. I'm like, you're doing magic. No. It's not doing magic to me. Mm-hmm. And then Mickey has this thing lately where he has this big cardboard box that you know, like when you send your artwork, they're in the cylindrical things. So it's like one of them, but it's massive. It's massive.
Yeah.
It's massive. And what he does is, when no one's looking, he puts a Hot Wheels car into it.
Right.
And then he turns around and turns it upside down and does hocus pocus, abracadabra, shibidaba, hoodabada. And he goes, whoa, and then there's a car. And Hobby's like, wow, I love man. You're like, whoa, it's brilliant. And it's what, like, why? Stay away from my family, Tommie. What are you doing?
Reading and pretend I'm not here.
Yeah, it's a bit mad. It's catching. And now she's reading the PDF that Dom sent me about the noting, the Vipassana stuff. And we watched the Vipassana documentary last night in
what one?
prisons in India.
One. Yeah. Oh, in India.
It's interesting.
No, I've seen one prisons in America. I didn't see the India one.
All right, I'll send it to you after we're done. We could, no, maybe we could do it. It's pretty old. It's so old. It's like 1998 or 3 or something.
Oh,
like
no
that.
way. That's like almost a million years ago.
It's like the square.
Oh, yeah, no.
Square proportions on the screen. There's no HD. Everyone.
What's the color grading like?
It's I don't know. I mean, they all look Indian. You know,
you can tell who they are.
that's what you mean. It's in India.
Oh yeah, how's color grading? I meant from a technical thing, not as a race thing. How's their
Right.
color grading? What? Some sort of KKK member.
And then there's a couple of token whiteys. There's like
Of course.
there's an Aussie guy. Oh yeah, mate. They say they got fucking hash on me, mate. That's a terrible accent.
That's all right.
Sorry,
But I can't mostly tell the difference between Australian accents and English accents. Anyway,
Yeah,
I can't discern them at all. And then occasionally said African, but that can be easier. Certain words, once you hear certain words, you know the way like Canadians, it's the oot.
A boot.
You immediately know that like there's certain
Yeah, Vervaeke does the odd one, doesn't he? And you're like, Canada,
yeah.
blame Canada, blame Canada. Great song. That was like the movie, wasn't it? Was it the movie or an episode? South Park. I don't remember.
That's the movie, as far as I know. Maybe, I don't know. It all blends into one at one stage, isn't it?
Yeah, there's so many episodes. It becomes like The Simpsons. You know, there's too many.
They're still making The Simpsons. Like, who's watching The
Isn't
Simpsons?
that mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Apparently, he had a CPAP machine, the thing that I have for sleep,
Right,
sleep
right.
apnea thing. It's like, oh god, this is getting too real now. You know? I mean, they've predicted everything. They predicted Trump, predicted the end of the world, and all that stuff. What's his name? Has a new video on YouTube. Do you watch him? Let me know. He's called Lemino. Lemino. He's this massive YouTuber, and he has like movie quality YouTube videos he puts out
cool.
like once every 3-4 months or something. And like
Peter McKinnon. Loads of
but like,
slow-mo
oh look, I made a coffee. What? Shut up, man. You know, take some photographs and stop making coffee. It's about what's it called? Oh, what's the title of it? I don't remember. Something to do with the end of the world, catastrophe or something like that. And but it's kind of like, well, these are all the possibilities: hit by an asteroid, volcanoes, weather events, yada yada yada. And the end of it is like, global warming. We fucked this ourselves. Like we're done for. You know, well done, humans. Nice one. No, but he has an excellent one about. Do you remember the aircraft a couple of years ago that went missing? Was it a tide?
The Malaysian. Yeah.
He has an outstanding video about that. It's brilliant, and he's piecing all the bits together, and just he's a really good investigator.
Right, I haven't even heard of him at all.
Oh, he's brilliant, man. He's brilliant. I'll send him.
The YouTube algorithms are not doing me any favors these days. It's like just sending me like stuff. I don't want to watch that, but it's not. It's like it's mostly music and like crap music, and it's like going. For the type of stuff I watch on YouTube, you think, send me some sort of... Although there was a bit of a while when I was watching the Jonathan Pajot stuff that they were sending me...
Well, see, that's the problem, Tommie.
No, I wouldn't mind if they would send me, some sort of, I don't know, well, I don't know, whatever, but it was like they started sending me like Orthodox Christian, proper Orthodox Christian.
Of course it did. Pajot, yeah.
See, Pajot's latest video is that he's giving out about not following the science. He's
doing what? Not following what?
You know the way people say follow the science?
Oh, science. I thought you said signs. Sorry, science.
No, follow the science.
Okay.
Sorry, what my accent.
Yeah. I see that.
You can't understand.
The Gordon White thing has gotten over to Reddit now. There's people posting about that today. Yeah. So he's done for.
Is he? I mean, it's not the first time this has happened, and it's it happened when he said it first. It's the same stuff that he said whenever it was a year ago. Actually, the first thing that was posted up on Twitter is that newsletter from a year ago. So it's not new stuff. The interesting thing with Gordon White, though, is that people have become, in a sense, and even me to a sense, are so shocked about how conspiratorial he is. But like he's never not been like that. Like from day one, he has a whole kind of series. It's not the whiskey rants, it's whatever. It's the other thing, but it's about there's this, the elite rulers of the world, and he's always been anti-Hillary, and all this. Like, so I mean, it's not that big of a shock that he was the first person I heard personally saying that 5G was going to kill us all. So, and he has a whole video about it in the thing. So. It's not. It's I don't know. So the one line, if it's true, I haven't seen the video, but if it's true, it's shocking. Is to take the names of the people who are disagreeing with you for after the revolution, they'll be first against the wall or something like that. That's intensely bad.
Well, look, I mean, he thinks he's Hunter S. Thompson, and he's just a gobshite.
It's the thing that I find most, I suppose, hard about Gordon is that I've learned so much from, and he was once I found chaos magic, and say particularly the Grant Morrison, the Sinful Lecture, and he lists off a load of names. But if you were put in sigil magic or chaos magic into Google that time, that's all you could find was Gordon and the Baptist Head Boys.
Yeah.
And so I kind of devoured that kind of whole thing. Taking he talks about like stuff like Richard Hoagland stuff about glass structures on the moon, and I found that exciting. Not in that, well, I don't believe it, but it's kind of that entertainment kind of stuff. And it was like, but his magic stuff, his sigil stuff, and the shoaling and all that stuff is great. And it was very foundational for me getting into chaos magic. So there's kind of a part of me that, in one sense, part of my brain wants to. I don't know what the correct word is. Whereas I don't dismiss outright in the way about David Icke, who says exactly the same things. There's parts of my brain that like has a kind of there's an endearment or something towards him.
Well, it's probably you feel like you have a debt to him because he gave you something that's useful in your life.
Yeah, probably yes. So I don't want to totally kind of dismiss it out of hand or whatever. But like, I mean, it's like if he was anyone else, I would. So what what does that tell you?
Yeah.
If it was David Icke saying these things that we have said.
What was it? One of the first things you ever... What were we talking about, Astral projection, that's what it was. And I was like, oh yeah, this sounds good. Because you know me, I want to get high without taking any drugs.
Yeah.
So I was like, so you said, yeah, you might like this. So you sent me onto the website, and straight away when I see anyone in the occult who has a thing for that Saint Bruno, what's his name, that's a bit of a red flag for me.
Right, hey, come on, what's that? Why? Gianardo Bruno, what's his name?
I do know Bruno.
Yeah.
I do know Bruno.
I said Gianardo Bruno. Is that his name?
Yeah, Gianardo Bruno. Yeah, I don't understand he wasn't an occultist. He was a monk. Like, what's going on here? What's with the worship of this guy? He wasn't your. If he was around today,
he was burned at the stake for heretical ideas.
No, okay, but if he was around today, you wouldn't like him. So what's this bullshit?
Yeah, but you see, there's also the whole thing they have to remember that the entire reinsertion of Christianity and Catholicism that happened in chaos magic, mostly I think is to do with it's to do with the re-emergence of things like Saint Cyprian and all that kind of thing, and Gordon had an awful lot of it. He was big into the saints and stuff like that, so that kind of came back into it. So there is a whole, which is to me is interesting because that's in one sense can be not always like a red flag because it kind of points to conservatism.
Yeah.
And it's like.
Well, I mean, look, my only point to it is that like I know why your man, what's his name? First name Giovanni.
Yeah, Giovanni, something or
Giovanni Devani, whatever. Bruno. He was the first one to. He wasn't the first one to think it, but he was the first one to write down stuff saying that look, we're not the center of the universe. Like, look at all these stars. They're all suns with planets that go around them as well.
Yeah.
And so because this is heretical at the time. Now this is translated into him being some occult hero, and it's like, no, that's not it. Like, right. If you're gonna worship Bruno, like, why not Copernicus? Like Copernicus was far deeper into that type of stuff than he was.
Or Newton actually was.
Yeah, exactly. So look, I mean, I understand the thing about chaos magic, picking and choosing who to go with, but like for me, for knowing a little bit about him. He's not really who you think he is, like.
Yeah.
Well,
it's funny though, because like he's definitely massively more well read than I am, and he's definitely an intelligent man, 100%. There's no question.
Bruno.
No.
Bruno was smart,
Gordon.
yeah.
No, Gordon.
I would disagree. I think you're smarter.
Well, I'm not.
I think you're way smarter.
And he's not an awful lot more command of the history and all of that kind of stuff. And it always kind of gets me a bit. And this isn't a thing in Gordon. This is in general, where you see, and it happened particularly around the pandemic and stuff, where you start seeing people who you thought were, intelligent people in your kind of friends and family, who just kind of come out with this, like, from my point of view, utter nonsense or whatever it is, and you just kind of go. Because I'm not really concerned about them. That's not my concern. My concern is, right, I'm doing that in some capacity in my life too. You know what I mean? Like, they're obviously very intelligent people, for the most part. Some of them weren't. But, and they're falling for this. So what am I falling for? What's my equivalent? And that's, I think, is the kind of scary thing.
Well, there's another one as well, that John Michael Greer, his name comes up a lot. Like, he's also anti-vax, he's like...
Oh, is he? Yeah.
I think he's hates the lefties and all that kind of stuff. Which, okay, it's different for us. We're not Americans. We're not polarized and like.
Particularly in Ireland, when our opposing parties are actually in government together at the minute. Like,
yeah,
that's how unpolarized Ireland is.
And as well, like no American wants to get lectured on their own politics from foreigners. Like, I understand that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, but like, well, for example, that Foolish Fish guy. The videos that we like. Yeah?
You're going to say something like, he's a racist.
No. He seems absolutely lovely, Side. What a lovely man, and does great reviews of books. But he had one there a while ago. I was reading some Druid one, and then there was a Golden Dawn one as well. Sorry, no. He was doing a Druid one, and he was saying, you'll know this name, John Michael Greer, because he did the recent reedition of the big Golden Dawn book.
Oh yeah,
you know the one with the rosy cross on it. And then he had a few other books that he had done, and he's like, he really knows his stuff. And I was like, like, this is the thing with, say, I suppose it's the problem that me and you have with Jordan Peterson as well. It's like, okay, he knows his stuff there. He knows his stuff as a clinical psychologist. Like if I sign up to his newsletter and he's going to be on about how vaccinations are, terrible for us. Rub a potato on the fucking shot mark or whatever, and it draws out the mercury. You get the fuck out of here. And it's like, for me though, it's really hard for me to trust someone on the thing that they're supposed to be very, very good about when they're so bad at normal life.
Yeah. I can absolutely get that. Yeah,
but like, none of us are saints.
No, but it's like it's the problem isn't that they're good in one area and bad at life. That's fine, because we're all like that. It's that they think they're good at life, and they put for, or it's like your man Neil Donald. What's his name? The black science dude. What's his name? I can never remember.
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
That's him. I was thinking Neil Donald Walsh, which is the guy who wrote Conversations with God. Very different guy.
Sounds like he's from Donegal.
Yeah. He just looks like Santa Claus. He's very interesting. He kind of oversteps his mark and stop talking. You don't. He's not talking about stuff that
he oversteps boundaries to women as well. Apparently.
Oh, does he?
Yeah. Stuff about him as well.
But he's kind of like the kind of person I kind of see as that being the kind of epitome of that, where he says something because he's qualified in one area, and then he, if you say something about politics or whatever, it seems to have you're meant to take it as the same level of quality of thought or education or whatever it is, authority. But it's like you're going, no, that's not. I
suppose. Look, what's good. I think something that's good about both of us, and a few of the other people who I speak regularly on your Discord and that, is that there's a healthy bit of skepticism that me and you have towards stuff, and like, I think maybe lately I'm willing to go a little bit more further than you, but like, that doesn't mean that like in 2 or 3 months time it could flip around.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But I think it's really good to keep healthy skepticism regarding someone. Like, it's weird the way that I just couldn't. As soon as I listened to one or two, I think I was into my second what's it called? Rune Soup podcast. I don't like this guy. It was
very immediate. I remember you very immediately.
There's something wrong about this fella. And I couldn't put it together until I started seeing his writing, and I was like, this is paranoid, delusional. That's what this is. you know, hepped up on sauce and just, you know.
Yeah, I don't think he should be cancelled though. In the same thing that we were talking
No,
about.
no,
last
no,
week.
I don't think either.
Yeah.
I don't think either. I mean, I think, yeah, but like, but well, I mean, then again, like, he shouldn't be cancelled. But like, I mean, yeah, okay, go off the parlour or go to the 8 shoot or whatever.
Well, it's his own website. That's the thing. That's the problem. Like, you have to sign up to the newsletter. You have to engage with him. He's not coming to you.
Yeah.
You know, he's not.
But I mean, I saw on the. I don't think there's that many comments on the Reddit thing, but I saw one person standing up for him, and he just got slaughtered. You know, so and I don't like that about the cancel culture. But then again, like, I mean, he is calling for people to be put up against the wall and shot.
Yeah, or something.
You know,
that's a very odd wording, whatever that.
That's
that
pretty
whole
bad.
thing
Like,
is. Yeah.
you know, like, come on to yourself, Gordon. Putting people with different opinions up against the wall and shot, like, just ignore them or don't talk to them or don't be friends. Don't send Christmas cards. That's the best way to get back at someone in Ireland. Don't send them a Christmas card.
Yeah.
Fucking bitch, I'll show her. I won't send her a card.
Yeah, the whole thing, I don't know. It makes me feel odd. I don't like it. The whole thing's a bit sad from all angles, I think.
Yeah, because there's another element of it as well that, like, you don't want to get sucked into too much. There's this whole there's the cancelling and is getting him off stuff, so social media, but then there's also the witch hunt.
Yeah,
And like that's like, because you can really get caught up in that and just wanting to tear someone down, and then you're like looking at yourself going, what am I doing? Like,
Yeah.
you know, like, fucking, I know I'm a bit of a hippie, peace and love and all that stuff, but like, there's better things to be doing.
Yeah, but I suppose from their point of view, it's like that whole thing of saying that, oh, well, no, you know, all it takes is for, you know, good men to do nothing, all that kind of stuff, you know, that you're letting it go. I don't know the answer. It's not my decision to make. And
yeah, of course. It's hard to know. It's hard to know what to do. We're having these big existential crises since the year turned, huh?
it's crazy. Like, there's so much going on at the minute. Like, apart from, so we have like the standard pandemic lockdown stuff that's going on. You know, particularly here in Ireland, we have the highest in the world. I think we're not the highest in the world anymore, although that could be wrong. We have got our stuff way down. We've also Brexit going on, which is causing havoc, absolutely havoc here, because our usual trade routes for getting food and stuff is, you know, essentially closed at the minute because no one knows what they're doing, and seemingly the amount of paperwork is just ungodly. And so people like couriers like DPD and stuff like that have stopped delivering stuff from England at the minute altogether since the middle of December, because it's just the amount of time that it takes to deliver one package is just, you know, it's like, I don't know, 15 hours.
So what are you doing? Like, are you ordering your books off Amazon Germany or France or what?
No, because I ordered 2 books off Amazon. I got them within 4 days, which is this week, which is the quickest they've been in months. So it's it's only because I had a fetcher. I'm not going to be able to get stuff on Amazon UK anymore because you have to spend less than 20 quid. I think books are you don't have to pay tax, but you still have to pay VAT. But there's no VAT in books, so I don't know how that works out. But there's VAT in ebooks. Anyway, yeah, but it just means that it's just going to be a couple of months, and then rather than going through the UK, we're going to come through Spain or France, whatever it is, and we'll get all the really good food. You know, the problem they're saying is that it's highly unlikely, though, or what's very likely to happen is that we're going to start getting products that won't have any English labels on them, because there's no way people are going to put English stuff on it just for the 4 million people.
Just for Ireland, for a small market. Yeah.
But yeah, it means you get the really nice.
Well,
you know, the really
man.
nice cheese and butter and stuff that you get in the continental breakfast in your.
I know, but sure, look, you can't get much better than Irish cheese and butter anyway. So you'd be grand there. I wouldn't worry about stuff like that. Nah, you don't eat meat anyway, so that doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
In the vegetarian section, Super Valley, yesterday, some really hilarious clown had put a load of meat. And you go,
oh!
And that's the other thing. Maybe had some sort of conversion, like Saul on the road to Damascus, and he goes, "Oh, what have I done with my life? I shall take all this really highly processed vegetarian food that kind of looks like meat but isn't, and change the errors of my ways. I will now be called Saint Paul." That's not quite the.
A lot of it is awful processed, isn't it? Like,
all of it's terrible. Particularly when you get to the vegan end of things. It's like unless you're like you do vegan properly and eat proper food, but when you're getting like vegan sausages or whatever it is, it's just awful muck of food. Not even food. It's stuff that looks like food that isn't actually food.
But what is it mostly? Is it just like oil plus like 1% tofu plus a fuckload of oil, vegetable
Well,
oil?
all that corn stuff is made out of some sort of fungus. So mushroom, but they don't call it a mushroom. They call it a fungus. It's I don't know what it is. It could be chicken of the woods or something, because that's quite chickeny, meaty thing. But you think that's
hard to get though. There's not.
Yeah.
Well, it's it's tough enough
Unless
to get that.
they're growing it themselves, you see, which I'm sure they are. But like most of it is rehydrogenated, oils of some description. Or coconut oil is a big one. Like all that fake cheese stuff has way more calories and way more fat than normal cheese.
You're not winning me over here. Vegetarianism, I like to do. Yeah.
Yeah, no, the vegan, like I did vegan a couple of times, and it's just I can't sustain it, because I can't get satisfaction out of the food, the limited amount of food that you can eat that isn't junk food. So you end up with the junk food, and then you're going, what am I doing with my life? So.
Did you see the thing I put on the Buddhism Discord channel yesterday about the animals? That broke my heart. So it did.
Yeah, I'm not buying it.
That's sad,
All
isn't
sentient beings are sentient beings, or they're not. That's just like.
Dogs can't. Dogs and or animals can't attain higher states of consciousness, so they can't go up in their levels. And something like, and he says in the book as well that, like, when you are on this planet as a human, it's really rare, and it's really rare to come back as a human as well. And I was like, oh, okay, is that how it work? I didn't know that.
No,
so what, are we reincarnated? Are we reincarnated somewhere else?
That sounds a bit more
else?
kind of Hare Krishna Hindu-y than it does kind of Buddhism. But I think the whole,
he says
I thought the whole thing in Buddhism was that it's the you can't know, so don't answer. That's a stupid question.
Yeah. You're supposed to not know, aren't you? Yeah. It's a Theravada. That's what it's called, isn't it? There's this podcast I found. There's like 130 odd episodes of it, and he has a free ebook, and he doesn't read the chapters like an ebook. He analyzes his chapter with you.
Oh,
so
right, okay.
it's the book isn't written very well. It's not great, but it's every sentence is a fact. You get me? It's written in that style rather than it being a coherent piece of literature. Not coherent, it is coherent. But you know what I mean? It's not something where you're like, oh yeah, I really enjoyed reading this book. It's like just fact, trivia, fact kind of stuff. But,
of course, the older idea is that, not older idea, but the other idea is that animals are precursors to humans, and particularly domesticated animals. It's their life before they become a human, because they are slowly, getting to terms or getting to know what it's like to be human and stuff like that. But then it came out that, oh no, currently the door is closed for animals to ascend because there's too many humans. And we're all just like, how do you know that? Shut up. Have a slap.
Steiner had stuff like that as well, but Steiner's stuff wasn't that nice to like disabled people and stuff.
That Stuart Wilde has that kind of thing, so that the first kind of human life is like some sort of physically challenged or mentally challenged person, because they're so well cared for and all that. I can't imagine that's a particularly easy life to start off in.
No, not at all.
That's obviously, I'd say that's what Stuart Wilde must get it from, because from the Steiner or true theosophy, that lineage.
Maybe so. It's not nice.
Not nice,
but
no.
like Steiner, isn't it? Like what we were saying earlier, Steiner seems to be so wrong about so many things, but when there's a piece of writing that speaks to you and you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Like, what?
And his farming works. It works.
Oh, gee, the farming
madness.
100% works. Absolutely works. Actually, that reminds me, spring is coming. I need to buy some. I need to buy some cow shit that has been stored in its own horn over the winter months. Isn't that mad? Isn't it? Yeah. Buying in France and Germany. I looked up. Apparently there's only one public guy in Poland who does the Steiner method of farming, and they don't have any animals, unfortunately. So, well. Looks like I'm going to have to buy a load of cows, Tommy.
And horns.
Yeah, that'll be fun. No, it wouldn't be fun. No, dairy farming is hard. My outfit had tried it for a while. It's not much crack.
Right.
Really not much crack. No, God, no. Milking them every day and feeding them and looking after them. They're nice animals, though, cows. They're smart.
Yeah, they're very friendly.
They're good crack.
They can be quite... not intimidating is not the correct word, but like when you have a load of cows coming at you, it can be quite like you go, well, these could really, really hit me, but they never do. They're just super friendly, super curious.
Well, no, they can if you make them run. which we used to do when we
Oh,
were
you have
kids,
to,
and
yeah, but you have to.
shouldn't do that.
No. And the cow tipping thing, that's not true.
No, it's not true at all. No, of course it isn't. Did you have a look at the thing I was telling you, the Life After Death thing on Netflix?
No, it's. I was assuming we would be doing it as a thing, so I thought I'd do it
We
for this
can,
general
yeah.
thing.
I don't know if you'll. The first episode's really good, then the second two are about mediumship, and they kind of a bit
Lose
boring,
you.
to be honest, for me.
Right.
And then, but then it didn't lose me completely because there's parts of it that are really good, and you're like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, I can see that. And then there's other parts you're like, I don't know. See what you make of it yourself. There's a good thing about reincarnation keeps popping up in my life lately. Maybe I'm gonna die soon. I don't know what's gonna happen. Well, we're all gonna die soon, aren't we? If we're looking at it for a long, big enough
That's
perspective.
it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. As
It's
soon
funny
as
'cause
now.
there's like this more the druid stuff I'm reading. There's like they believed in it. I was telling you before about the Phil McCool story and St. Patrick. That it wasn't Phil McCool. It was a druid or a filly who would have claimed he was a reincarnation of Fionn. Like there was stuff with the Celts that you know, like Johnny, look man, I'm a bit broke. Can you give me 500 quid? Yeah, no bother. Look, I'll pay you back in the next life. Yeah, grand, yeah, no bother, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the way the Celts used to do things. Like they're not mad. Like they make the trust between people. Yeah, I'll come back in the next life in Azerbaijan. So you're gonna have to find me. You know, and then there's like, okay, obviously Buddhism and like it's really only Christianity, isn't it? That doesn't have it, and Islam.
Did
And Christianity did have it. Isn't that mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know? So like, why are we? Like maybe that is why there's so many people on the planet because they're just everyone's being reincarnated and they're just not achieving, you know, the step up to get the fuck off here. You know?
I remember talking to a Harry Christian guy, and I found them fascinating in a kind of the same kind of entertainment type of way, and that it wasn't really because he said first everyone knows that the moon is further away from the sun. I went, all right, now we're in. Let's hear what you have. And that there's birds that fly across the cosmos and lay eggs, and the Russians have photos of these. All right, great, awesome. But he was saying that
Is this just him or is this what they believe?
it's what they believe, but they're not meant to tell you. Well, you know, it's like the Scientology stuff.
Okay.
So he was saying that there's people now starting to reincarnate from Mars and stuff like that, which I don't know if like that could be that seems more like a theosophical idea or whatever. But he was like, but you can see them. They look like aliens. And I was going, oh, get into dangerous territory now. But like this guy, he looks exactly like a grey, doesn't he? That's weird. But that's the thing I find about the reincarnation is like the population fluctuates and all that. So is there some sort of time where you don't kind of aren't incarnated? Are animals coming in? Is there are you only incarnating on one planet and all that kind of stuff? Of course, Alan Chapman says that we are the reincarnations, or the future. It's the opposite way around. All that kind of stuff, which is an interesting kind of thought. That Crowley is
say that again.
So Crowley is a reincarnation of you. That because. It's a long spiel. I'll not get into it. I'll let him explain it sometime. But yeah, I don't know about how I feel about reincarnation altogether. I hope it's not true. That's kind of the my kind of thing. I one and done, please. Thanks very much.
No, I definitely want it to be true because I'm like, yeah, I'm 40 now. I don't think I'll get to Machu Picchu. I probably won't. So next time, I really want to go to Marcio.
Yeah, but like when you get, if it is the case and you go there and you were born in Machu Picchu and you go, Ireland, I'd love to get there. Maybe next time. You won't know. You know what I mean? It's like Brad Warner says that if there is reincarnation, well, this is it. You are the reincarnation now. It hasn't started with you. So what use is it to you? What is it?
Okay, then we've got to go to Machu Picchu. That's it, man. It's happening. Fuck it. Tommie has said we have to do it, so we have to do it. Yeah,
but there's there's an inbuilt sense of not an inbuilt, but kind of an idea, the presupposition in it of elitism in reincarnation that I find in spiritual circles that I don't really like because it implies a hierarchy. It implies, better.
It's like the
Indian.
It's like the Indian caste system, is it? Is that what you mean?
Well, no. Well, yes. Well, there's that, which is terrible and thing. But it's like when you start getting into things like theosophy, where you have a root race, which is lesser, which basically means black people, And then, you know, you have the thing that came out of it. And so, you know, white people have evolved out of that.
Yeah,
You know, they're a higher order. But even not on that kind of big macro level, you can have it on, you know, the kind of a thing of, well, I have attained something that you haven't, so I'm therefore, I don't know, more important than you. Whereas you find most people, some people who are actually awakened have that kind of a different thing where it's like, I'm, you know, none of us are important. That's the way, you know, what I found out, rather an elevation towards some sort of grandiosity. Although, of course, you do have the grandiosity in some purported awakened people, I suppose, is the best way to put it.
I wonder, your man says on that book, that podcast I'm listening to, he said that, actually says in the book, he doesn't say in the podcast, so maybe the podcast he doesn't get as woo. He says that, like, when you are, you know, when you reach the highest of the attainments, you can glimpse like past lives and stuff you did during that. So I'm like, yeah, I don't know, man, because like if I became fully awakened and then I was like welcomed up into whatever it is, Nirvana, you'd be like, can I go down there? I never went to Hooters. Can I go again? You know? Like on the roller coaster. Because I mean, look, there's plenty of times in your life that you had that were terrible, but you're like, yeah, I don't know, that was good crack, some of that, wasn't it? You know, looking back now. But sure, you're born without the memory. That's the worst thing. Like, I mean, why can't you just be like...
Well, yeah, but the other thing, of course, is that it could be that everything is, you know, it's not that you have Tommie's going on right now and then he dies and he becomes John. It's like Tommie and John is happening right now because everything is simultaneous and everything's in the thing. Edward Kelly was told by one of the angels, who always spoke the truth, that there's never been... the amount of humans that there is now has never changed, you know, and it never will change, whatever, implying, I suppose, there's two implications in that. One is that there's an awful lot of non-player characters going about, if, you know, there's only been a certain amount of humans. I suppose, and the other thing is that there's a greater kind of illusion or something going on. But it's an interesting one that you know, as a counter to the reincarnation, going, well, if there only is a set amount of humans. But then you get into that whole thing of, I suppose, you know, there's chosen people and all that. It's just, there's no matter what way I kind of look at reincarnation, it very quickly veers into weirdness, you know, or into the kind of conclusions that you get from it or something. Or
the Celt, do you know the Celt one?
I'm not sure. Tell me.
The Celt, but the Celts kind of believed in a kind of and the book I was reading, there's no word that they've found to describe it, but it's similar to what the Vikings had in Ragnarok.
Right.
There was or like Carl Jung, and there's the end of an aeon, and then you would come back as
right.
But when a Celtic person died, their spirit went off to other realms, but it wouldn't reincarnate in a human form until a new age, you know.
Right.
That was the Celtic one. That was the Celtic one.
Right, that's interesting. So you're never, you know, your father wasn't your son in a previous life, all that stuff.
No.
And there'd be no spiritual families that people talk about.
Which is weird, because then what about the owing money stuff? You know, like I just said a few minutes ago.
Was that just it's the never? Yeah, I'm never paying you back. Yeah, next life, mate. Yeah, actually, next eon, I'll have you. Yeah,
they just knew it. But then again, like the apparently Celtic society was a bit like what the Native American society would have been like okay, there was the chieftains were richer, they had the power and the cattle and all that stuff, but like poor people, the serfs or the workers, they were looked after, you know. They had food and clothing and shelter and all that kind of stuff. Like, okay, they didn't get to try on the king's pearls every Wednesday night, unless he was into those types of necklaces. Oh, shut up, Spud. And I hadn't prepared that joke, and I walked into it backwards. Huh?
Are you making a case for slavery's all right? Right? Yeah, it's just what
no, Jesus, no, fuck no. No, what I mean, that like, it was just a bit more. You know, like you couldn't play with the king's sword unless he was stop it with the fucking sex stuff. Fuck's sake. Yeah, he couldn't put his hand on his Jew. Well, shut the fuck up, man. God damn it. It's not even me saying these things, Tommy. They're just coming out.
Yeah, he's got possessed.
So there weren't communist communes or anything, but, you know, people were helped out. That's my understanding of it anyway, and stuff like that. Like, it's with the research I'm doing with the Celts, it's quite hard, because it's quite difficult knowing what's reliable and what isn't, because there's so much stuff that was written. What I'm finding out is pretty much anything up to the 70s, 80s, you can just dismiss as bollocks, because so much of it is based on fake writings of people who were real. So there's that Welsh fella who made up neo-paganism or neo-druidry, and all of his stuff, he's a bit like that Wiccan fella. Like, all of it is just based on nonsense.
Right.
And you can't trust any of it, kind of thing. And I see this a lot now on the different Reddits for druidry and these Irish paganism stuff, is that, like, so much of it is people getting into it and just going, I have no idea where to start. Do you know? Because like there's these like cults of Morrigan and stuff like that, and it's like, she didn't have a cult. That's just weird. Like, that's just okay. I mean, she's a kick-ass goddess. Do you know, there was 3 forms of her. One was prophecy, one was, you know, if she shows up with you, it means you're going to win the war, or it means you're really, really going to lose the war. You know, and it was up to her, kind of thing. And then there's another one as well. And like, okay, she's pretty kick-ass, but she didn't have a cult. Like, you know, it's strange. It is strange. You know, and even like Danu, Danu was supposed to be the head god. Apparently, from what I'm reading now, like, there wasn't really a Danu, and no one.
Really... But there wasn't really any of them, was there? Like, or is there?
Well, yeah, of course there wasn't really any of them. Obviously, there's no augment. I'm just playing with the pen. It's going to make noise. Sorry. Yeah, click, click, click. Sorry. The what do you got? Like, there was no, obviously, there's no real person, Ogma or Manon MacLear or anything like that. But they were gods that people did pay attention to. Whereas Danu looks like it's kind of made up. Danu would have been a river spirit. They had those. They definitely they had that. From my, I don't have the knowledge you have, but it's like that. It wasn't necessarily goddess of the river. It was the river had a spirit. Yeah, the spirit of the river. Yeah. So that looks like what she was, and that's apparently who the Danube River was named after as well and stuff. Yes. I don't know. It's just it's great. I really like finding out more about the stuff, and I found out more about the Imbas Frosty was telling you. There's these 3 types of kind of meditative stuff the Irish used to do. One is a kind of one was a kind of mindfulness. The other was a kind of mantra meditation, and then the other was a sensory deprivation, like incubation.
All right.
And like there's even like there's mad links between like that the one I wrote, Trees Across, who I was telling you about. She uses loads of arguments to say that, well, the Celts originally would have came from the Vedics, but then the Vedics were around at the same time as the Buddha. Indeed, actually, Buddha learned his meditation from them.
Okay.
You know, he like Buddha was a Brahmin before he wasn't a Buddhist. He didn't have a religion, kind of thing, you know. But like all of his meditations came from learning through that method, and then he discovered his own stuff.
Yeah.
So like.
And we have to make a correction, because Dom pointed out to us that the Buddha did go home to his son, or the son became his. Because we were saying last week.
Yeah, the son was the first. The son was the first ordained.
We were complaining that the Buddha wasn't a nice man, that he left his family. Whatever,
yeah, but everyone says this. Everyone says this about Buddha. Buddha was terrible. He left the wife and kid. Well, he left them in the house, but he
left them in the palace full of goodness.
Yeah, full of jewels and 40 virgins and all that kind of stuff. So the Buddha seemed like a top bloke. But yeah, so it's mad to find that, and there's lots of language similarities in the names of the gods and the ritual, maybe not rituals, but the ritual. So like the Vedics would do these rituals, and it was to symbolize that, well, creation comes from a sacrifice. Something has to be gotten rid of. Something has to be sacrificed for something to be created, kind of thing. And this is what the Celts used to do as well. So it's all. Yeah, it's mad to see that this is where it more likely comes from. Because like the old idea was that like, the Tuatha Dé Danann were the Dananns. They were one of the Israelites who were in the desert for 500 years. No, that is not what happened at all. You know, it's just made up stuff to make, you know, English and Irish literature types feel important about themselves, kind of thing.
I suppose there's the other one as well, that Set from the Adam and Eve stories came to Ireland, and that's how it all started as well.
Yeah,
no.
No. That's not what happened at all.
Right, do we want to talk about this documentary then?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's Room 237, which is a look at the kind of conspiracy, but not real conspiracy, the theories behind Stanley Kubrick's movie version of Stephen King's book, The Shining. And it is directed by the guy who did a documentary called The Nightmare, which we previously talked about. I don't think you got to see The Nightmare in the end, but we did talk about
Yeah, I had to see the other one, didn't I?
Yeah. And his new movie is coming out soon. It's called Glitch in the Matrix. So you enjoyed this, yeah?
Yeah, man, I loved it. That was great. Because, you hated it.
Yeah, it's terrible documentary. No redeeming features whatsoever.
You hated it that much?
It's an awful documentary, yeah. It's really, it's like, it's really badly made. It's utter rubbish in everything it says. And I don't know, without being too kind of, well, what did you like about it? But like, I'm genuinely interested. What did you like about it? Like,
I liked a lot of it. Well, I like The Shining. The Shining be one of my top favourite films.
Yeah, I like The Shining too.
I have to say that first.
Did you like, by the way, Dr. Sleep? Or whatever. Is that what it's called, Dr. Sleep? The new one, Ewan McGregor one.
No, I don't know that.
Oh, it's awesome. You should watch it. It's really good. It's the
Stephen
sequel.
King, is it?
It's the sequel to Shining. Yeah, it's his son. It's about his son.
All right.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay. And what does he have?
It's one of those, it's surprisingly good. You know, you can't go, a sequel. And it's a sequel to the movie, not to the book. Because the Stephen King did a book sequel called the same thing, but it's a sequel to his book, whereas when they did the movie, it's a sequel to the movie. It's quite interesting.
Yeah, because Stephen King's Shining is meant to be awful. I haven't seen that.
I only seen,
well,
yeah, it's like a TV movie thing. You know your man from,
Yeah.
is it from Wings or something, whatever that, like one of those kind of
Paul McCartney?
Yeah, Paul McCartney is Jack Torrance. Jack Torrance.
What did I like about it? So it puts together these theories that Kubrick was telling the audience that this isn't about just a boy who has this shining power. It's about, take your pick, the genocide of the American Indians, the World War II, the Holocaust of the Jewish people. Well, the Holocaust, okay, idiot. That what was the other one? The moon landing. It was his kind of not apology, but his way of saying, "Yeah, look, I did it, and I didn't have a choice. I had to do it." And then the other one was this kind of magic thing about the Minotaur, and how it was a maze and all that stuff. And I suppose I'm saying this with someone else that the listeners will get to hear soon enough as well. And I don't like bringing his name up every fucking podcast recently, but the difference... How to explain this? So say with your man, with Johnny Peugeot, he piles on this symbolism for us to get. You know what I mean? Whereas with this is people watching it on their own and finding meaning in it. And I like that.
Right.
You know, because it's not like with Peugeot, I feel like I'm being hit over the head and saying, "This is what it is. This is what it is. This is what it is. You must believe this. You puny, idiotic person who knows nothing and can't make up your own mind." But I have to say, like, I am that type of person. Like, I don't look up the meanings of songs. I hardly ever look up the lyrics of songs, because for me, the song is what I make of it. And it's the same with art. I don't look up the meaning of the art. It's like, what does it mean to me? That's because, my opinion, is not as more important than the artist, but it's...
No, it is. Like, I mean, that is what you're saying, and that's cool. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think...
No, it's the same. I'm not saying it's better or it's worse. It's just...
Well, I mean, it's equal. Your opinion of it is more relevant to you than what the
exactly,
artist.
yeah, because it's mine, yeah. And so, like, I can watch The Shining. I've watched The Shining loads of times, and I've never seen any of these mean it.
Yeah, that's because it's not in it, at all.
You know? But there are some strange things, like the fucking... I know what changed my mind on it was that someone says that they spoke to the hotel manager, and they were saying that Kubrick rang the manager and says, "Look, we're thinking about doing the film. We want to do it there. It looks like a nice place. I'm going to send up some people to talk to you." But what would happen is Kubrick would actually ring this hotel manager every couple of days for hours at a time, finding out more and more about the hotel. And so his team go up there. Was it three or four people went up there, and they stayed in Colorado for 3 or 4 months, just researching the fucking shit out of Colorado to find out what as much as they could about it. And I think a lot of the information was put into it. So I think it's kind of I'm not buying the World War II stuff.
No, just on that thing, that isn't. That's a first hand that happened. That's a guy who, is not even a talking head because it was just him on a phone line saying that he did this. It's not even an interview with the hotel manager. Also, is that even true? We don't know. The guy who's Stanley Kubrick's assistant through all this thinks everything in this movie is total bullshit. So he doesn't collaborate.
Is he not in it?
No, he's not. It's just whatever.
But he's not in the film.
What do you mean he's not in the documentary?
Yeah.
No, he's not. No. Just reading what he said after it.
I know. What do you want to do with digital research for?
I find it fascinating that you can. That I thought you would hate this, given that your feelings towards Jonathan Pajot and is kind of looking into stuff, and at least his stuff is valid for the most part, or makes sense.
I don't think it is. You see.
Yeah, but why? How can you possibly take the beginning of this?
Well,
it's a guy starts making a theory about the film from the film poster, that this film is about the Holocaust from the film poster, from a sentence on it, and I'm going, what? That's ridiculous.
But then, okay. Well, what I mean is that so he takes this idea and then he builds on it and he puts together what he thinks is proof of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas with Pajot,
right,
a bullshitter can spot a bullshitter, Tommie. I'm a bullshitter. He's a bullshitter.
No, right, fine, whatever. But you're willing to accept someone who says that something ridiculous about something and go, that's cool.
No,
someone has something that gets somewhat valid, depending on what way you want to. And a lot of what Jonathan Pajot says is valid. I know you disagree, but it is.
Yeah.
But for me, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not saying what do I know, but it's just I find it I think this documentary is the epitome of everything that's wrong with conspiracy and magical thought and everything. I just think it's a terrible documentary. I think it's it kind of validates the whole notion of the type of society we have at the minute, where your opinion is as valid as everyone else's because you've decided it's true. And I think I don't think that's healthy for society. And I don't think there's not one thing in that documentary that is in any way convincing about anything other than, until it was halfway through when I was talking to it, I was going, oh, hold on, this is taking the piss out of these people. And I think it might be. I think it might be going, like that point where there's the guy and he's talking and then in the middle of it he starts going, oh, hold on, my son's going crazy in the background. I have to calm down. Go, like, who made this? It's, I don't know. I found it very annoying, I have to say. And just every single, like the Minotaur thing, right? That is based on one poster in the entire thing, and it's not a Minotaur. It's definitely a scale. There's no question of it.
No. Hey, look, I'm saying
the whole reason of why he's saying it's about the Holocaust is because the typewriter is German made. Ridiculous.
Yeah, that's nonsense as well. Yeah. So that's what I said. It's not the Holocaust for me.
No.
But it's also not the Minotaur, which I said as well. I think the Red Indian thing is the most likely.
Fine, but I don't think the film is about Red Indians. I think there's a motif in it that's about it, because it's just built on the Indian graveyard. There is all the kind of stuff in it. There's pictures, whatever. But it's not about the Indian Holocaust. It's definitely not.
Oh no, it's about Danny. Danny has the shining. That's what the film is about.
Yeah, but this documentary saying it is actually really about, which it isn't.
Yeah, no, it's not. I'm not saying it is, but I like this documentary.
Right. Well, explain to me. I have to get my head right. Yeah. But
I don't know. Maybe it's just because I really like The Shining. Like, this could have been about a film I don't like, and maybe I would have hated it. I don't know. You know me, Tommie. I change my mind every fucking 5 minutes and everything.
Yeah, no, I understand, but I really want to get, because I don't like someone who really over the last couple of weeks has made a point of that they hate when people read into stuff too much and make stuff out of it to then. Which would seem to me, it suggests to me that it's more the person saying it than the idea that you dislike people reading symbolism.
It might be. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's because, I just don't really like Pajot, the way he argues. He's like, well, this is this because this. It's like, yeah, maybe not.
Hold on, I have to stop. I'm not massive on Pajot either. I'm not defending him. But I'm just trying to get my head around Range.
Yeah. Like, I mean, like, there's even, like if you were into the moon landing and stuff, I could see you, or the moon landing being faked, I could see you going with the theory that's in this as well, do you know? Because the guy who puts forward the theory is fucking adamant that he's also spoken to people who were working with Kubrick and faked it, you know? And like, you know what? Maybe he did, maybe it was fake, but like they still did go, you know? Maybe these were just the backup tapes or whatever, you know? Because like,
but how is this, say, any different other than the stakes are a bit higher than, say, David Icke theories about the world? Or even whatever, Gordon White's theories, or whoever it is, like, it's the same level of...
no, Tommy, it's a film. It's just a film. It's just
I know,
a film.
but I mean, David Icke's just a documentary, that David Icke thing we watch as well. Like, what's the... I know it's... That's what I'm saying, the stakes are higher, but I'm saying the underlying...
Well, that's it. That's what makes the stakes higher. Is that, like, sure, David Icke is talking about, like, 5G, we're all going to die, yada, yada, yada. And it's like, no, that's not true. Whereas this is just... It's like... For me, it's like when I'm sitting around with the lads and we're talking about films and, you know, stuff like this will come out. No, I think it's about this. Or I think it's about that. And it's like, our opinions, none of our opinions are worth shit. But we're just, what's the word? Spitballing about bullshit, culture bullshit. It's not real life. You know what I mean? It's a distraction. So I think that's why I liked it. Right. You know, because it's not like with Peugeot, the stakes are quite high with him because, you know, he's talking about books that 3 religions are based on, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, what gives this fella the right to say the stuff he's saying? No, because he's not qualified to do any of it. You know, that's what I don't like about him. You know?
But I would definitely say more people have seen this documentary than has even heard of Jonathan Peugeot. So it's like definitely more people, it's affected more people and influenced more people. Yeah. And most people who have seen it think it's brilliant. Like, I don't...
Yeah, but the ratings are pretty bad. IMDb has only 6 out of 10 or 6.
Well, that's pretty good for a documentary. Like,
is it?
I think so.
Maybe, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe.
I tell you, had I watched this a couple of years ago, I would have been like, "Grand, this is cool." Thing. Yeah. I just feel that this is type of thinking and this type of promotion, as if there's an agenda behind it, and but like this normalization of it is, I think, the reason why we have the world we have. I think it's that it allows anyone to have kind of any mad kind of view on whatever they want, and it to be, well, that has to be accepted as a view because you know, it's
I don't think it has to be accepted. Like, I mean, I don't, or whatever,
not accepted, but like it's
like look, like of the 4 main theories that are put forward, I'm only possibly buying one of them. Do you know what I mean? So, but like, I think if you're going to have an opinion, I mean, you need to be able to back it up. And the people in this, in fairness to them, they do try and back up all the theories. There's a pretty good one about how the house is, or the hotel is your subconscious, and because it, like, stuff in the hotel seems to move, the architecture of it, or the layout of it doesn't work. You see Jack Nicholson walking down along the main counter, and you see the back wall, and you're okay. So in your head, the back wall that's where the windows will be. But he turns left suddenly, and then turns a sharp right, and suddenly he's in the main manager's office, and there's this massive window out with sunlight coming in. It's like, and you don't notice it, but your brain, your subconscious notices it, and it's going, something's not right here. You know, and it makes is that just before the handshake spooky. with the penis? I was looking at such bullshit. I was looking at it going, have they blurred out the penis? No, it's just a sunspot. Get the fuck out of here.
It's not even the sunspot, it's a paper tray. It's just a thing that's on his desk.
Okay, that's what it was.
And then the other one where it goes, you know, when he's driving down the road, it goes, and on one shot you could see a very clear airbrush Stanley Kubrick in the clouds. You go, no.
Yeah, no, that wasn't there at all. I like the way they crashed the fucking red Volkswagen though. That was Kubrick's fuck you to Stephen King.
That's the
That was funny. Stephen King was bitching about he's changing so much, and then so in the book it was a red Volkswagen that they were driving, so he put it in this massive crash at the side of the road, like, so that's funny. I mean,
the forwards and backwards thing was quite interesting, but as someone pointed out, and whatever I was reading that, when things line up. He says, well, of course things are going to line up because, there's so much centered stuff. And there's the one big bit where he goes down, when the car hits, the photo hits, and Jack Nicholson's name all hit at exactly the right time. And he goes, yeah, if you move either of them 20 seconds either way, it still hits. It's not, because everything is centered. So, but
no, I was the same with that. I was like, because like, it'd just take, it'd take literal years of editing to get stuff like that right, and it's not worth it. It's kind of like sometimes bands will do stuff like that, and apparently Tom York was really pissed off at Radiohead fans not finding something. I think. Do you know this one about the binary?
No.
That fucking pen, I keep clicking it. Sorry. I didn't bring any coffee up with me today because the last couple of episodes I've been all hyped up and hyper, and I was like, I won't drink any coffee today, and now I'm all like fidgety. So there's this
probably
thing
take some Coke.
I know, yes. 5G! Well, if you make these sigils and put them all together and think of fish, then the whale, I don't know. OK Computer, that's the really good one, isn't it? After the Bends. OK Computer and In Rainbows.
Okay.
If you play track 1, OK Computer, track 1, track 2 with track 2, track 3, track 3. The endings of track 1 just has the same key or note as the beginning of the next one. And apparently it took something like 12 years for people to figure this out. And Tom York was really pissed off about this. And I think the reason he's pissed off about it is because people don't play albums the way they used to. They're not like CDs or records. Everything is digital, so you don't get a chance. You don't come up with ideas to like, oh, if I tape these two together, these will happen. Like, it took years and years, and it does work. It definitely does work, and it's something that they've said that they did on purpose. So you can find the torrent where it's already done for you as well, so you don't have to do it.
Even better.
It's great. Like that. It's great. I think it's, what do they call it? Binary Radiohead or 1010 Radiohead, something like that. You'll find it, and it's cool.
The other thing about this documentary that's terribly put together, like, I mean, I know it's an older kind of documentary, but it's very much like a YouTube documentary. Like, it's that kind of standard.
Oh, it's
not even
clips
good
and there's no people,
Yeah, and the people themselves have obviously recorded it themselves. Your man hasn't even gone and interviewed them or anything.
You really hated this.
Oh, yeah, man, I really didn't enjoy it. But it was funny. I'm more annoyed about it now than I was at the time. But it's just, I suppose, speaking it out loud kind of has that thing.
Yeah, there's another one that I thought was interesting, and they were saying that the house is the way the house is built and the way that they get from place to place in the house is supposed to be a bit like how your subconscious works out dreams. Like, it tells you different things at different times, and this is why Danny is going around. No, Danny's the kid, isn't it? Or the wife? I don't remember now.
Okay.
Danny's the kid.
Yeah,
so Danny, the kid, right? So the kid's going on a strike, and he's going through the kitchen, and he turns right, and next thing he's upstairs. Like, how did he get here? Like, and then he has the vision of the two girls, and they're in front of him, and then he blinks his eyes, and then they're butchered in front of him. And this is about your brain putting stuff together and moving from place to place. Those types of things, they're interesting, but it's kind of like, this is the thing, is that the film has people who says that this is what the thing is about, right? But it never hits you over the head and saying, this is exactly what the film doesn't tell you this is what it's about. It's the people who tell you what it's about. It's just, I don't like being told what to think by people. It's a very thin line, Tommy. I know it is. I know it's a very, very thin line.
But it is people telling you what it is, and the darts in it.
Yeah, it's the people, but it's not the film. You get me?
How is it not the film?
Because the people are only in the film. It's not the film. It's the director isn't telling you.
Yeah, but there's no. Understand? Yeah, but there's nothing outside the people talking in the film. There's no other direction. There's no other opinion. There's no other anything. It's only the people. So the film is directly saying, "This is what you're meant to think."
No,
because it's the people.
I don't see it that way.
Right. Well, I just don't understand. I don't
understand. Look, Tommy. Look, I mean, maybe we should get Aga on the podcast with you, and she'll just be like, "Yeah, no, you'll never understand Spud." It's just the way it is. Like, he'll. You think you know him, and then suddenly he's into magic. Do you know? Like, I mean, do you know, when I met him first, he was pulling pints, and now look at him. He's, you know, making shit from timber, and he's fucking getting me into Buddhism now. And this is my impression of her. And oh yeah, he's so bulgy everywhere. That's good. She's gonna kill me now for this. I mean, It's not the best documentary in the world, but I just thought it was a bit of fun. It's fun.
Yeah,
That's all
yeah,
it is. Fun. It's not serious. I didn't take it. I can't take it seriously.
I think it's presented
Dog
as
shit.
serious. No, well, right. But I can go on. I think it's presented as serious. I think you're meant to believe it.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't.
Which is like, I mean, the Nightmare I really, really like as a documentary.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, tell you what.
it's really good.
Like, will this make you want to watch The Shining again? Because as soon as I watched
I
it,
say, I wanted to see it because we were going to put it in the cinema when they opened up again, and I was all set for going, and obviously it didn't happen. So I didn't watch it. I did download it in 4K or something, but I haven't seen it in a long while. I've only probably seen it once or twice anyway. But I did really
really?
enjoy. Yeah. I don't think it's a great movie anyway.
Oh,
So,
I love it.
Yeah. I would say watch Doctor Sleep though. I enjoyed it very much. I watched it again recently. Yeah, the Stanley Kubrick. Why can't I pronounce his name anymore? Kubrick. I'm hit and miss with him. Like I like Doctor Strange. It's good. Not Doctor Strange. Doctor Strangelove. Jesus Christ, Strangelove. Peter Sellers, the black and white one.
No, I've never seen that one.
Oh, it's really good. You should watch it. Although I don't know, maybe it's not good now if you only watch it.
Well, I
now.
mean, okay, what else you got? Full Metal Jacket. That's classic.
That's what do you call it? Your man from Law and Order, isn't it? He ends up in Law and Order. One of them ones. Criminal Intent is the.
No, maybe yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Apocalypse Now, is that him? No, that's
No,
not him. That's
no.
Francis Ford. That's someone else, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Franco. Well, there's the Tom Cruise one. What's that called?
Eyes Wide Shut. I didn't like
Eyes
that.
Wide
That
Shut,
was
yeah,
was
yeah.
weird. That was
Yeah,
just,
no, I enjoyed that.
Yeah, well, you're into your kinky sex magic.
Ooh. Yeah. No, I enjoyed it, but it's kind of like you can read too much into that too, like thing. But I enjoy. I think it looks great. It's a great visual kind of thing of it. What else did he do?
Well, if I had the internet here now, I'd Google what other films he's done. Isn't that awful? I'm just going blank on Stanley Kubrick.
There's a couple other. I remember watching
Not Apocalypse Now. 2001. I only watched 2001 about 4 or 5 years ago, I think, for the first time. I thought it was great.
Yeah, I really like it. It's the books are good too as well, but they're a very different idea of what it's about, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Particularly when it goes to like the next one, 2010, it's very, you can tell that they've gone for a completely different.
There's the one he did in Ireland as well, the period one about the English aristocrats or something. That's a really good film, but it's like a fucking Charles Dickens books or something.
Right.
It's great, but it's kind of boring in that kind of way.
Yeah,
You know,
don't
sometimes
even
you
know
get a
that.
film like
Yeah,
that. I can't remember the name, but you get these books like that or films like that, and it's like, yeah, this is really good, but it's kind of boring. Like The English Patient or something. Remember those films? There was a whole period there during the 90s when there was all
Yeah,
these
I avoided
boring Oscar
most
bait.
of them ones. Hold on, I'll
Like they're good, but they're a bit like because I don't know, need some explosions or ghosts or something, aliens. You know, I'm a simple man, Tommy, as you and the listeners are well aware of by now. You know, what else has he got on the list?
That's what I'm looking up now, but the usual, as soon as you use the internet for something, it goes really slow. Our internet's been very weird recently as well, but I hear lots of people talking about the general kind of speed of internet has gone
Everybody's
down.
on it all the time now.
Okay, so we have Eyes Wide Shut, Full Metal Jacket, The Shining, Barry Lyndon, is that what you're on about?
Barry Lyndon's the one, I think that's it, yeah.
Clockwork Orange, forgot about that, how could you forget about
Oh,
that?
yeah, geez, of course, yeah. Clockwork Orange, bonkers.
Yeah. 2001, Doctor Strangelove, Lolita, that's interesting. The,
but he did the old one, didn't he? Not the Jeffrey Irons one.
Oh, is it? I always just
Yeah,
assumed
there's
it was
two
'cause I've never
versions,
seen
yeah.
it.
Or Jeremy Irons. not Jeffrey Irons.
Yes, James Mason. There you go. Spartacus. The Spartacus?
Did he do Spartacus? Oh, class. I watched that a while ago as well, actually. It was on
Oh,
telly
wow,
one
that's
day.
interesting.
Yeah.
Pat's Glory, The Killing, Killer's Kiss, The Seafarers, Fear Desire, Day of the Flight, and Flying Padre. That sounds cool.
Yeah, no, I don't know any of them.
There's a story about a monk who could fly. Maybe that's what it's about.
Oh, maybe.
Kind of a famous thing. Spartacus,
Yeah.
that's interesting. That's like it. That's one of those Stanley Kubrick. Oh, fuck off, Tommy's mate.
Kubrick.
Stanley Kubrick's. He's the type of guy that a lot of people lie about. In that, I'm a big fan. I've watched all his films. He's one of those. You're meant to know all the films, and you're meant to know all that.
Yeah.
And I definitely don't. I do. I watched a couple of documentaries about him. There's a few good ones. Not a couple of years ago when I was, I don't know, just got into. Why did I get into? I obviously seen a documentary and then watched some more about it. He's a very interesting guy, and nuts, obviously, and he. I think there's definitely loads of stuff in The Shining, and he definitely did stuff. I doubt we'll ever know what it is, because he seems to be making movies for himself more than anything.
Yeah. I think I'd say there's a lot of symbolism he did put into it.
Yeah.
But they make the point in it as well. It's like a lot of this stuff is jokes. Like it's just him fucking with people, which is like cool.
I suppose you could look at the Apollo 11 jumper that the kid's wearing, and you can go, oh, that's him apologising. There's a conclusion. Or you could go, there's him making a laugh at the fact that everyone is saying that I faked the thing, and it's just a little Easter egg. There you go.
I'd say that's what it is. Yeah. Easter eggs is what they're called now, isn't it? In games and stuff. Yeah, I'd say it's far more likely as that, because there's the what's it? 237 has a meaning. 237 is the name of the film.
Oh, that one. Oh my God, that was the worst.
That was nonsense.
The
total nonsense.
Room number 237. There's only 2 words you can get from that, and that's room and moon.
Room and moon, and the moon is 237,000 miles from the moon. It's like, yeah, okay, that's miles. Who the fuck cares about miles? Everyone measures everything in kilometers anyway. Even NASA do kilometers. They don't do miles.
Someone was pointing out that because he says it's moon, and then there's an N and an O for a number, and and saying, you can also make moron out of those.
Oh, brilliant!
I think in the book though it is room 217, so he did do something in changing the name to it. But there is a thing where they're saying that they don't have a room 237 in the actual hotel, which isn't true. They do absolutely have. My cousin was at the hotel. He says it's quite cool.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's just the outside. That's the thing. The rest of it was filmed in London.
Yeah. Most was filmed in London, and that's why the architecture and the layout of it fucks with you, because you see them walking in, and it's like, wait, what? It's way bigger, But like you don't register it. It's just it's in the back of your head. It sees it. It's like the subliminal kind of messages and stuff. There's a weird one actually. If you watch that prison Vipassana thing, there's a weird bit in it where there's this like just something gone in and out, and you're like, what? Like, me and Aggie looked like, what was that?
Is it like the penis in Fight Club? That kind of...
I hope not. I don't know. I mean, look, for me it's fun. It's not serious, but like.
Yeah, I've been overly harsh, just because I'm disenchanted comedy these days, so I'm aware of it. It is, if you go in, okay, I'll take it back. It's not the worst documentary I've ever seen. Obviously, I've seen such drivel on YouTube in my life. I watched it actually because I was going, right, someone put up something. It was the new norm or something. Some documentary. It's going, oh right, your man Uvari, that guy, that famous kind of science guy. Harry Uvari, I can't pronounce his name, but anyway, I took it, all right, this might be a decent enough one, and it was a conspiracy documentary, and it's like, but I had it on the background, and I was just going, so that's, I've seen many of rubbish conspiracy documentaries that are much worse than this. If you go in for a bit of crack and a bit of thing, but it's just like, my concern, I'll repeat it one more time, is that the QAnon stuff and the connections they make are exactly the same type of connections that the people in this documentary make towards a film, and it's an eye-opener in the way of seeing, and particularly watching that look at what's it called, Searching for the Flat Earth, that other documentary we watched this week, where
Searching for Flat Earth,
it's really good in that it kind of starts off as, here's the flat Earth, and he kind of debunks it, has a look, he says that's not enough, and then around 40-minute marks go, and here's what happened out of all of that, and it kind of explains why people become QAnon stuff. Yeah, QAnon, whatever it is. Yeah, and I just think my reaction, I suppose, is it's symptomatic of seeing that kind of worldview and that kind of I was going to say critical thinking, but I don't think it is critical thinking. Has become so mainstream that it's no longer entertainment for me. I can kind of go, oh, this is the thing that's.
What was it?
Destroying the very fabric of our society.
Your mate, what's his name? The Telemite, Marco.
Yes.
Marco put up a thread on Twitter there, I don't know, a couple of days ago, from someone that retweeted it about this fella who, some American chap who would talk to QAnon. Is QAnoners the right word? I don't know. QAnon people, whatever. And kind of his thing about him was, and this isn't fucking, groundbreaking knowledge around him, but the thing about these QAnoners and conspiracy theorists is that, like, so say you believe that, vaccines are bad or something, and you say it to like 10 people, and 9 of them are like, no, just, you're an idiot, you know?
Yeah.
And because people are wounded then, you know?
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
they're like, oh, crap. And instead of like having the wherewithal or the confidence to maybe question their woundedness or why they're wounded, and instead of saying, oh, actually, maybe I am wrong, what they do is they kind of turn inside and they're like, no, they're why are they doing this is an attack on, they take everything personally, and then they just are attracted to their forums and their internet places, message boards. Have you heard of these message boards and chat rooms, Tommie? I think they're going to really work out well on the internet. They're going to be massive. And so they just kind of they're attracted to like-minded people. You know? And instead of that's I find that a bizarre thing with people, in that people aren't willing to question their own kind of beliefs and their own.
Well, here I have two statements to that, and hold me to the second one if I forget. The first one is the echo chamber thing, and that's something I am very, very aware of, which is why you'd be asking me sometimes, why are you listening to these people? Like, why are you doing that? It's good because I don't want to be in an echo chamber. I don't only want to consume things that I agree with, and that involves then listening to people who you completely don't agree with, and even at the end of that, you go, well, I still don't agree with you, but now you know the position properly. It's like and it's like I have a number of friends who I can disagree entirely on the worldview, but that's brilliant because I can always kind of then, in a sense, touch base with the different type of thing. Whereas if I just had, as you say, the chat room full of 10 people who all agree exactly the same as me, it's insane. You know, you're going totally nowhere. So I think it's for me, it's always important. But the only thing is, what I tend to do is probably lend too much credence to at the time I'm doing it. You know, that I do have that kind of where I can get into it, and I have to be aware of sometimes to pull back or to. Sometimes I do. I notice myself doing this is an interesting one where I'll have an opinion, say about magic, and magic exists, and then there'll be a documentary will come up and that's called "Magic Doesn't Exist," and there'll be part of me going, "Oh, don't watch that." And I go, no, I'm definitely watching it now because because you're going, oh no, they might say something that's going to disagree with you, and that's a thing I have to. And then at the end of it, it turns out that it's I don't know, something about room 37 or something that's ruined your life. But the other thing about that's the type of stuff, my second point is that when you have this kind of conspiratorial thinking and you have all this, it stops people who have a legitimate question or concern about something being able to voice that. It's like, well, hold on, I'm not anti-vax, or I'm not, it's whatever, but I am concerned that this, vaccination was only made in, 4.5 weeks in someone's garden or whatever. Just, and it's like, no, we have to be able to talk about all of these things. It's like,
well, this is the healthy skepticism we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, but it's like, but it's that
both.
thing that we've talked about before, that there's so many things that you're not allowed to talk about anymore. Yeah, and it's the whole thing is a bit of a mishmash.
Back in the old days, Ireland used to have these places where they used to just put the vaccines into babies nobody owned.
Oh, man. I've stayed away from all of that this week. I don't think I'll recover from reading that. Like it's have you been reading it?
Is
it? Have you delved into it properly or anything?
For
people who don't know, there was a huge outcry this week over mother and baby homes. Is that what they were called in Ireland? Yeah. And the level of nastiness, evil that happened in them over the years. Yeah, I can't. I'd get in a hole if I started reading that.
It's very hard to see how the church in Ireland can like, it's very strange. It's like, if you look at it from the outside, you're like, Jesus, the Irish church is taking an awful pounding. Surely this is the bottom of the ladder.
Sure, this is it. Yeah.
And then something else comes along, and they sink down even further. It's like they got to be dead now. It's just it. Like they're just. I think the Irish are just going to be like the Czechs, and just everyone's going to be atheists except for the Polish people living there, which is exactly the same as Czech Republic. Right. The only Catholics are the Polish people who live there. Oh,
it's so
bizarre.
Weird.
It's awful. It's terrible what they did, and you shouldn't be making jokes about it. Shouldn't be making jokes.
Well,
about
no,
it,
I don't. It's one of those things that's so horrifying that your only reaction is to, total despair or in some
you
way.
can't believe it. Like, you just can't believe that people. Like, you're a person of God and you're doing this. What the fuck?
Yeah, all in the name of you like to think, and I have to assume that most people, even when they do these unspeakable acts, they have in some way of thinking they're doing the right thing rather than just. But I don't think that's necessarily true. I don't know. I've heard some horrible stories of what people do.
No, but look, it's like
it.
You've said it before. I've said it before. Like the way that left-handedness was beaten out of our parents, beaten out of my mother and your father, and like they thought they were doing the right thing.
Yeah,
people bit it out of them. What? No,
I know.
Very bizarre how, but very good how our standards have changed over the years. Thank fuck.
Yeah.
But
obviously we're likely to be doing something now that's the same, that the next generation will go, what were you at, lads?
Probably to do. I reckon it's probably to do with mental health and stuff like that. I reckon that'll be the thing. That people look back in years and just go, you scumbags.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's see. Maybe. I don't know.
That's something else I want to say there. I can't remember. I was going like, it's gone.
Yeah. What's this mysticism stuff you're getting into? I saw you've started a new Discord.
Well, it's kind of. I'm finding on the Discord, because I have the different channels for different things. I'm kind of going, I don't know where to place certain things. Like, there was a member saying that YouTube were sending me these Orthodox priest dudes, whatever. But I was listening to a couple of them, and some of it's good. And then the next one is obviously, a tremendously terrible video about, sinning or, you're a worthless person or something like that. But within, certain ones that there's kind of ideas, and it's going, well, mysticism seems to be the only thing, kind of channel where you could push, Christian stuff, that, mysticism, Orthodox stuff, Islamic, Sufi type stuff, whatever. It seems to cover a bit. But it for me, I know there's probably is an actual definition of what mysticism is. But it was just that it's something that I don't know. It has that kind of...
What is it? It's religious spirituality? Is that it?
It's kind of like esoteric versions. It's the inner church rather than the outer church of the religions. Right. That's kind of my understanding of it.
So it's like if you bought, say, like if what's the Buddha book? The Dharma something? Dharma Gamma? The verses.
Yeah.
Like, is there one of them for Jesus and Muhammad, and we could just put the three of them together and maybe... we'd all get along.
No, because I think one of them, they're not all written down or whatever. It's that thing in the Bible. It's I'll never get the thing. Milk for babes and bread for the thing where it kind of implying that let's give out these teachings that'll keep everyone happy, and then but we have the higher order teachings for the initiates, the type of thing.
Okay.
That kind of idea. So I mean, it's the Sufiness of the Islamic thought. It's Christian mysticism because they couldn't think of a better name for mystics. And for Christianity, but I assume it's in all things. But it's I've mostly only been kind of exposed to the Christian side of things, because that's obviously the kind of prevalent.
Oh, but Jesus, top fella, good lad.
Good lad,
we all messed it up after that.
It's like, it's like literally every single thing after went wrong. Well, it's mostly St. Paul, isn't it, that we have to blame? It's not really Christianity we have, it's Paulism. St. Paul, yeah. Well, Saul, the original.
I don't know, I mean, I'd put a lot of the blame at the Council of Nicosia, isn't that what it was called? Where
yes.
Just got rid of loads of books because they didn't like the look of them or didn't like the covers or whatever fucking reason it was. That's a strange thing. But then again, I suppose would the Russian Orthodox Church, they would fall back on those books as well then, wouldn't it? Like, there's no... Is there a Christianity that, not that dates back before that, but that follows the things from before the Council in Nicosia?
Well, is that not what the Orthodox is? I don't really know.
I don't think so. I think the Orthodox is still the four Gospels, and the four Gospels was leaving out the other Gospels. Indeed. Yeah.
Well, I suppose Gnosticism in some form is the kind of trying, but that doesn't have an established, because I mean, you could talk to two Gnostics and have completely different views.
Yeah, of course, yeah. It's
I know which one. The Jewish religion. They go before the Gospels.
Indeed, yeah. Let's all become Jewish and don't work on Sundays. I can go with that.
Saturdays.
No, Saturdays.
Yeah.
I like that. 4-day week you're talking about here, Tommy.
Oh, right. That's interesting.
Maybe,
Is it 4 12-hour days rather than 5 8-hour days?
No, fuck that, man. No, that's not good. But I think it's just to kind of win over people a little bit, because like they're not doing what they like. In fairness, like, okay, Irish people didn't handle it well there for the last couple of months, and a lot of people have gotten sick with the thing. But like, in fairness, like the government is giving people plenty of money. Like, you know, if you're at work, you're still getting 350 quid a week. In Poland,
I think it didn't. Oh, is it? I think it went down in Ireland. I don't think it's still
down. Well, it's still okay. Let's say it's
not 50. It's not 50 quid. Like, I think it was more dependent on what you were earning. Originally.
There's nothing here.
Right.
It's literally not. Like, there's restaurants which aren't supposed to open. There's restaurants in the town. Sorry, one opened last week just to try and make some money.
Yeah. There's protests happening in Poland over
getting
too.
No help.
Mm-hmm. Is that because Poland doesn't have money, or just fuck yous?
But the money thing is ridiculous, because the EU have told every country, yeah, look, we've loads of money, we'll look after you, and we'll give you 0% loans and just whatever, as much money as you want, and pay us back whenever. Okay, no, why aren't they doing it? I think it's because it's like what spoken about him before. David McWilliams says on his podcast about governments, like the governments are run by people who don't know anything about finance. They don't know anything about economies, you know, and that's a massive fucking problem. And you know, people's first reaction is like, oh, well, they should have more people who work from... Well, problem is that people can make a hell of a lot more money in the private sector than in the public sector. So that's why they don't work in the public sector, you know? So unless you're like a member of parliament. But like, how long does it take to become a member of parliament? 10 years of slogging it out on the bottom rungs of the ladder until you're finally accepted by someone who likes the cut of your jib and pushes you on up. Like not no one, but people very, very rarely get elected in somewhere on their first run. Right. You know, a lot of people are just put on polling cards because they need to have 4 or 5 Fianna Fáilers on one thing, or they need 5 Labour people. They need 5 Labour people here. But like, Tommie, there, you're 18. This will be your first place. It's like, yeah, but that's in Brighton. I'm from Edinburgh. Just go down there, you might win. What? No.
Yeah.
There's so much of that goes on as well, you know. And I don't know. So Poland, they're not really helping stuff out, and I wish they would. It's not fair on people. It's really not, like, because especially when there's money there, and everyone, like, this is common knowledge the money is there, and it's just like, fucking help people out, man. You know.
Yeah, it's all fair, and you can understand then people go into a kind of thing of that it's a conspiracy, the Great Reset.
Of course, you understand it, but you just want to, I mean, I don't know, like, just, oh, God. I mean, you don't want to be lecturing people on, like, oh, you should do this, you should do that. No, do what you're going to do, but, like, I don't know, I think it helped a bit of skepticism, or maybe not even skepticism is the right word, but a bit of, what's that horrible thing they say that they should have in constructive thinking, is that what they call it?
Critical thinking?
Critical thinking, critical thinking. That, like, oh yeah, blue sky, critical thinking. What the fuck are you talking? Well, you might hit the glass ceiling. What? What are you talking about? You know, buzzwords. But
going forward
with critical thinking towards our blue sky have the glass ceiling. You know, so what? Tommy.
I think at the minute, and I'm definitely suffering from it. So I assume a lot of people are suffering from it. I'd say we're all a bit emotionally fucking exhausted by everything. It's like that thing I was saying at the beginning of it. There just seems to be so much happening at the minute. You know, you have pandemics, you have race wars, you have ridiculous coups, you have the return of you know, shamans or shamans, whatever you want. Graham Hancock has a great way of pronouncing shamans.
Does he?
It's like, you know, when someone pronounces a word properly, but it totally goes against their accent. It's like, and it's like shaman, and you go like, what? So you probably pronounced it right, but it just sounds weird. But like, and you have Brexit. You have, well, I know Brexit doesn't affect people in America, but it certainly affects, and doesn't affect you. Well, it might. I don't know if it does, but just, and it's like then in the middle of it, you know, trying to
not get sick.
Yeah, trying to
and infect all your
raise
family.
A 2-year-old, you know, keep your marriage going, have a podcast, trying to do your comic, trying to interview. It's like,
I was saying to you last week that, like, and I wrote it in the article that I did about the Ingram's book. I was like, yeah, like, we have to do more of these 30 30-day challenges thing. And I was thinking today, I was like, no, we're not going to do any more. Tommie has enough to do. I have enough to do.
Yeah.
We'll be all right.
We could do a 30-day challenge of, take it easy for 30 days. That would be a hard one. I don't know if day four, Tommie takes on 6 new projects.
Exactly. It's like, no, we're taking on enough. I think, it's, we'll come back together. We do a podcast every week about this stuff anyway.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So maybe in years to come, we can look back on the podcast and put that down in writing or something.
But I think we do suffer from a thing that's very prevalent in not only occult circles, but no thing. It's the Protestant work ethic thing of, to get what you need to put in more effort. And if you're not where you are, it's you haven't put in enough effort. And you go, I'm fucking destroyed. Leave me alone.
Yeah. Tired.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I don't know. It's just like I feel like this disenfranchised, disenchanted, emotionally kind of. Well, I mean, the last reading I did for myself was at the 1-card readings 47s, and the card I got was the Depleted. And, but of course, yeah.
I invented you, you bastard! Why would you do this to me? No. Yeah, I don't know. Me flirting with this druidry stuff, and I'm trying to find how I'm reading a good bit on Buddhism and meditation stuff as well from Ingram's book, and I am trying to meld the two of them together, and see how that works. Like, maybe I'm barking up the wrong tree, but like, I think because I've done so much work on it over the last 3 weeks, and I haven't found pushback on it yet.
Yeah.
I think I'm finding a path here, finding a road to go down, I think
syncretism, isn't it? When you take all the bits you like from the different religions and put it together into your own.
Sure,
or
why not,
chaos magic.
Or chaos magic. Yeah,
Well, the rebuttal to it is that, and it's the thing of that autodidacts, which people who are self-learned, or self-learning, is that you never bow to an authority. So there's a limit to you will always go to your knowledge, because it'll be always only to do with what you're interested in. So that's the. Not saying that's
but
what
that's
you do.
Tommie. You're my oracle.
Read this.
Tommie,
read this, you prick.
Tommie, what's this? Tommie, what's this about? Spud, no, don't waste your time on it. Okay, Tommie. So I mean, for as long as I set up this new religion that everyone's going to follow, you just have to be around.
Right.
That's
okay.
simple. You can be the first saint.
All right, thanks.
First Saint Tommie.
Did you see that? Oh, it was brilliant. I was so impressed by the photos that Joe Biden put up with the Saint Halo around him. So it's like a flag in the background with stars. Like the European Union stars. But obviously it wasn't. But they had his head lined up perfectly. So but like, not only once, but in 4 photos, I've seen it from different angles where they had done it. Right. I see what you're doing there.
Well, come on, Joe.
Yeah, fair play.
Yeah. I wonder, I hope America heals itself a bit. But then again, maybe it should just lie down in the corner like a sick dog and lick its wounds and think about what it's done.
Is that not what's kind of... Well, it's not. I don't know. It'll be... when we're on the podcast this time next year, we'll have to make a mental note just to has it like going, like we hadn't a clue how worse it was going to get. Or would it be, that really that sorted itself out. It's just Trump left and everyone kind of settled down. The war kicked off again in the Middle East, but that's fine. That was bound to happen. Whatever.
When is the thing? Is it today, the inauguration?
The 20th, tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Okay. Well, good luck, everyone.
Yeah.
And goodbye.